Data instant.
Let me quickly show you what I am going to cover in this video. First, I'm gonna show you how to create a database, how to create a table along with columns, and then I'm going to populate the table. Then I'll show you how to add a new column to your table, remove a column from your table. Then I'll teach you how to rename your column and also rename your table. Then I will truncate our table, which is just to delete the content of the table, and then drop your table from the database, and finally how to remove the database from our schema.
Data instant.
Alright folks, SQL has different type of commands and each type is meant for a different purpose. The one that we are going to talk about in this video is DDL, which stands for Data Definition Language. It has 5 commands called create, drop, alter, truncate, and rename, and we are going to use them to create, edit, or delete objects. And when I'm talking about objects, I'm referring to databases, tables, and columns. So let's go to our SQL interface. Right now I'm gonna use MySQL Workbench, but if you have a different type of SQL systems in your computer, feel free to use them. The concept and the script are pretty much the same. And if you don't have any SQL Server and SQL interface, I have another video where I teach how to download and install MySQL Server and MySQL Workbench. So feel free to refer to that video. As I mentioned, the first thing that I'm gonna do is to create a database. Just type create and the object name, which is database, and then if not exists, and then your database name. We put cells at our database name, and this part, if not exists, is optional, but it is recommended to always use it, because in case you already have cells database, if you run this without if not exists, it throws an error. So in order to avoid that, always put if not exists in your code. Let me run this and let me refresh our schema. As you can see, the cells database is popping up, but right now there is no table. Okay, let's create a table. Before creating the table, we have to define which database we are going to use. So just this short piece of code does the job, ensures that we are using sales database. So in order to create a table, we have to type create table, similar to create database, not exist, and our table name. There is one more extra step we need to do for when we are creating tables, and the extra step is to specify the columns and the column type or data type. So the first one is customer name, and it's just text or a string. So we put bar chart with maximum 255 characters. And our second column is birth date, and the data type is date. We also can specify the constraint. So I'm putting not null as a constraint here. So let's run this. And if I refresh our schema, you can see the customers table is popping up here. Right now, our table is empty. So let's populate it with some sample data. In order to do that, we just put insert into customers, and we also need to mention the column names, and then we put values, and in a comma separated format, we add values or insert the values. The first one is John, the name, and the birth date is 2000 January 1st. We also need to add Sarah and her birthday as well to the table. So let's run it and see how our table looks like. There you go. As you can see, the table is popping up with 2 columns and 2 rows. Next, I'm going to show you how to add a new column to the table. To do that, just put alter table customer. Whenever we are dealing with columns, we have to use this line of code and specify the table that we are going to alter, and then we tell the computer what to do with that table. So what we want to do is to add a column, and as you can see, it's very intuitive. It's just talking to someone who knows English. So we say, okay, add column, and the column name that we want to add is just country, and then we have to specify the data type, which is a string with 30 characters maximum. And also we have the option to specify the location of this new column, which I put after birth date column because I wanted to place it at the end of the table. And then let's see how it looks like. Let me run it. There you go. You can see our table with a new column called country, but it is null because we haven't inserted any values in it. Next is to drop column from our table. As I mentioned, whenever we want to deal with columns, we have to specify the table, alter table, customers again, And just in simple English, we tell the computer to drop this column and specify the name of the column that we want to drop. Unlike adding column, we don't need to mention the data type because the column is already there. So let's see how it looks like. There you go. You can see the country column has been dropped. Next is I'm going to show you how to rename a column. Let's say we want to rename the customer name column to something else. Again, given that we are updating a column, we have to specify which table and then just change column old one, old name, customer name, and then the new name. First, I want to rename customer name to first name. And we have to specify the data type of the new name. It's similar to the previous data type. And let's see the results. There you go. As you can see, the name has changed. It used to be customer name, but right now it's showing first name. Next is to rename a table. In order to rename a table, just put rename table customers and to the new name. We'll rename it to clients. So as you can see before I run it, you see it shows customer here. So let me run this and then refresh. Okay, it has changed to clients. All right, next is to truncate or delete the content of our table. Just put truncate table clients and let's see. Okay, you see the content of our table is gone, but we still have the table here, but it's just empty. What if we want to remove the table and content and everything together? To do that, this time instead of truncate, we use drop command. We just drop table, client, and that's it. Let me run that. You see, client table is gone. And the final step is to drop database totally from our schema. It's similar to dropping table. Just put drop object type, which is database, and database name, which is cells. Let me run this. You can see before I run it, you see cells is here. Then I run it and cells is gone. So we don't have sales database anymore. And that's pretty much it. You've learned the whole DDL in SQL in a few minutes. Congratulations. And I hope to see you in the next videos.